alone.
Could you say what significance the term Hildenvriend has?
That was originally a kind of what they say in the Bible, a shibboleth. It was a password almost. If you could pronounce that correctly, you were a Fleming, and they wouldn't cut your throat. And if you couldn't, that means you were a Francophone and you were dead. Oh. Right back in the uprising in Bruges in the 14th century, beginning of the 14th century, which is celebrated as the beginning of Flemish nationalism in a rather slightly mythical way, I suppose.
Là, nous devons nous placer au Moyen-Âge, grosso modo au Moyen-Âge, au temps de la féodalité, un temps où les États n'existaient pas encore. Le pouvoir dans les différents pays d'Europe, le pouvoir appartenait à des aristocrates, à des seigneurs, et les possessions de ces seigneurs ne connaissaient pas de frontières. C'est ainsi que la Flandre, à cette époque, au Moyen-Âge, c'est ainsi que la Flandre, que le comte de Flandre dépendait du roi de France. Et il y avait de nombreux Français. C'était, je dirais, je crois surtout des aristocrates, de nombreux Français qui vivaient en Flandre, notamment à Bruges, qui était alors la principale ville flamande. C'était une ville très prospère, très évoluée, dans laquelle les artisans avaient constitué une classe moyenne, très active, très prospère. Ces artisans étaient regroupés dans des corporations. Chaque grand métier, chaque grande profession avait sa corporation, donc son association. Pour désigner les corporations, le mot flamand est le mot Gild, G-I-L-D, au pluriel Gilden, G-I-L-D-E-N. Et il s'est fait qu'un jour, c'était tout au début du XIVe siècle, il y a eu une révolte des artisans flamands à Bruges, une révolte des corporations contre le pouvoir français. Et des artisans, des partisans des corporations à Bruges, ont fait la chasse aux Français. Et pour échapper à ces poursuites, eh bien, il fallait être un ami des corporations, un ami des gildes, et il fallait dire que l'on était un Hildenvriend, un ami des corporations, qu'on n'était pas un Français, qu'on était vraiment un Flamand. L'indépendance acquise par la Belgique en 1830, la constitution de la Belgique en 1830 n'est pas une œuvre artificielle. Il existe une longue histoire de la Belgique. Et Belges de langue flamande et Belges de langue française ont la même histoire, ont des racines communes qui plongent dans la même histoire à travers les siècles, depuis, je dirais, depuis les Gaulois, depuis la conquête de la Gaule par les Romains, jusqu'à nos jours.
When Belgium was created, which is 1830, part of the reason for creating Belgium was that the French-speaking elite of the country felt uncomfortable with the fact that they were governed by the King of Holland, and that's why there were also religious reasons between Catholics here in this country and the Protestants, and I mean there is more than one reason, but one of the main issues was that Belgium was quite bilingual at the time, although the elite spoke only one language, and that was French.
Elite people, the upper middle class, the bourgeoisie, spoke French just as they did in lots of European countries, because it was the language of culture and civilization. And this was nothing to do with being Flemish or not Flemish. And in fact, they had different names for these people. They called the French speakers, they called them Franskilions. And the Flemish nationalists called themselves Flamingants.
Ah, and what does that translate to?
Well, it literally means the Franskilions means sort of like French speakers, but in a derogatory way. It's a rather insulting way. The sort of, we could say, in Britain we'd say like the froggy talkers or something like that. And the Flamingants just mean the ones who were for Flanders or for Flemish language use, in fact.
And so Belgium became independent, and all from the start, the idea of the elite was to make Belgium not a bilingual country, but a unilingual country, which is only French, ignoring the fact that the majority spoke Dutch. So this was the official policy from the beginning.
To say why there are so many problems here is because we are 185 years ago we've been put together, Flanders and Wallonia. But when you look here to the Flemish people, when you look to the Wallonian people and you talk to them, you see two different cultures. We don't even know a lot about Wallonian people. I know some football people and some politicians, and that's it. They also don't know something about us. We live totally different, and it doesn't match. And that's the problem we see now on economical, social, political way. It doesn't match.
If you were able to speak French, you were part of that elite. Whether your French was perfect or not was of a lesser importance. You spoke French, and you were not a peasant.
Well, Flanders was always the sort of poor relation. Wallonia in the south, where they had the heavy industry in the 19th century, and a lot of Flemish people migrated there and assimilated to the French language. But people always resented the fact that they were treated really as ignorant peasants, I suppose, and they have this enormous chip on their shoulder. Although the whole roles have been reversed for a long time, and the heavy industry's declined and it's finished, the steel mills are gone, and the Flemish have a sort of high-tech modern industry, but they still feel in their hearts that they are looked down upon by the French speakers, and they don't seem to be able to get past that in a way. They can't put it behind them. That's one of the problems.
The Second World War was in fact looked a lot like the First World War, where you had a minority, but not an insignificant minority of Flemish population that didn't expect anything anymore from Belgium. Then they saw that they had the idea that the fact that we were occupied by another Germanic people, that it was an opportunity to gain more rights for the Flemish part of the country.
La Flandre. Si maintenant on se reporte au XIXe siècle, la Wallonie était plus, je parle économiquement, plus riche que la Flandre. Et puis, avec les charbonnages, et la Flandre, c'était une terre d'agriculture, mais c'était une terre... bon, ils ne vivaient pas très bien, ils avaient vraiment des problèmes assez sérieux, ils étaient économiquement faibles par rapport à la Wallonie. Et la donne a changé déjà entre les deux guerres, et s'est accentuée après la guerre. C'est la Flandre qui est devenue économiquement riche, et la Wallonie, en perdant ses charbonnages, ses industries, est devenue relativement pauvre.